All right, man, we back. Caneville, Footballville. Here with my man, the crib. Shout out to the member of the week. Member of the week, Arthur Ballum. And member of the week, man, name should pop up down there somewhere, man. We appreciate you. Appreciate all the members. If you want to become a member, hit the join button for the Android lovers. For the iPhone lovers, man, I don't know. Apple and Google be boofing. Boofing. What is boofing? Be beefing. And the join button is not there for the iPhone. You got to go find it. Hit the logo. Hit the logo down there somewhere, and go to the main page, and the join button should be at the right-hand corner. So I'm with my man Crib. Crib, what's your Twitter, man? Tell people Twitter is.
The Crib South FLA.
The Crib South FLA. And what's your Instagram? You've been rolling on Instagram lately a lot, man.
The Crib South FL is what we're at on Instagram.
Y'all go follow the Crib, man. Crib do a lot of good work, man. When it comes to personnel, man, he our very own male Kuiper, what do you consider yourself, man? I call you that all the time, but this is not about draft, dog. Like, what do you consider yourself? I keep calling you that, but that's what it reminds me of.
Whoever's the undercover guy that knows all the stats.
Yeah.
Knows everything.
You behind the scenes statistician.
That's me. I like to keep the face out of the camera as much as possible.
Why, man? You want no girls?
No, I like to keep it about the kids. Keep it about the kids as much as I possibly can.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. So go check it out, man. Y'all make sure y'all go follow her, man. What you got going on, man? You got rankings or anything coming out, man? Any top 760 nose guards coming out lately, man? I mean, what you got coming up, bro?
So we're kind of starting the dialogue right now of who everybody thinks is the number one guy per position. You, I, and Fanit recently came together and did the 2021 top remaining.
Right.
That was something that we put together and been trying to just get kids in school recently.
The 2021 top remaining, because we came together every year. National Signing Day comes. It even comes twice now. It comes and it goes. And in South Florida, there's a ton of kids standing here. Maybe some for grades, maybe some played 1 year, but there's a ton of kids here that we know for a fact can play college ball. So we put together a list of how many kids?
There's about 48 kids.
48 kids. I think he put that list together in 48 minutes. We put a list, and you can go on his Instagram, my Instagram, or Fanny Instagram, and check it out. 48 kids that we feel were D1 prospects, that we feel could play college ball. But we're going to give you one or two or three that we feel like for a fact are D1 kids for a fact. And I'm going to let Crib run that down. But I'll say this. Recruiting is changing. It's changing. I keep talking about this. I can't talk about it more because I don't want to slap people in the face. The transfer portal is there. They just put out a stat. It's 1,000 kids in the transfer portal, and only 28% of them signed to schools. So that means there's 70%, whatever, 70% of kids stick, 72% of kids stick. Thanks, X. That's awesome, big dog.
This shit didn't count, so everybody still has same amount of eligibility.
So the kids that jumped in the transfer portal this year, they got to pass.
They got to pass. It didn't count.
They don't know how many years they ain't going to count. I don't know how many times they're going to do that.
If these kids don't play this year, then it's an issue because this upcoming year's going to count.
Right.
So that's a problem. So.
Yeah. So let me give me two or three kids, man, that we know for a fact. Break them down, man. Like only you know how to break them down.
The first kid for me is Fred Killings.
Fred
Killings Jr. out of Western High School, former MacArthur standout. This kid has ability to be a kick returner, punt returner, slot receiver, can line up outside if needed. 5'11", 170 pounds. Probably runs in that 4.5 range.
Right.
He's explosive in the open field. If you turn on the tape, especially from his junior year, he had 4 or 5 return touchdowns.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and the kid, he makes kids look stupid in the open field, and he has sure hands. He can help you in the screen game, can help you over the top vertically. Right. He dominated Deerfield Beach defensive backfield, which had a few Division I kids, and proved it against Plantation, which Steve Davis does an excellent job every year.
So his recruitment. So talk to me about his career, right? Like, was there any colleges on him? Like, how does a kid like that just slip? Were they on him?
I think the HBCUs were on him for a little bit, but then when all the kids came back, it really hurt his really hurt the recruitment because
Right.
there's so many receivers. Receivers
Right.
are becoming the new running backs.
So that's a
dime
problem.
dozen.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah, so an exceptional talent like Fred Killings Jr. might be overlooked because they got Fred Killings Jr. already coming back
Right.
in their program. So
You talking about the colleges?
yes,
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, that's gonna set high schools back. I mean, that's why I try to speak on those things because it's an elephant in the room and we're acting like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So basically, he fell through the cracks.
Fell through the cracks, which is surprising because he for 2 years on a South Florida major level, the kid produced.
Name a kid went D1 that you say if they stood next to each other, mirror image career. Name somebody who succeeded in college football.
Succeeded in college football that I can compare him to. He reminds me a lot of Dejon McDougal,
Gotcha.
who's still at Maryland
At
right
Maryland,
now.
right.
But very similar profile, slimmer frame, but around that 5'11".
Dejon McDougal could have, he could have
went almost anywhere he wanted to.
Right.
But I mean, he's got that same type of build. He can help in all facets of the passing game. Is a jet sweep threat.
Right.
The kid has special teams ability, like I said. So, in my opinion, I think he's a steal for like a group of 5.
Right.
Which they're filled up right now. So if he were to fall to HBCU or FCS level, which they have to have some spots. I mean, there's a school out there for everybody.
Right.
Some of those schools just may not handle the social media aspect of recruiting the way that they should. So there's a school out there for that kid. If he went junior college, I can guarantee that kid would end up at a Division I level because he's just got that explosiveness to his game.
Right. Fred Killings. I mean, I didn't even realize he was on the list. I was with you, because I remember watching Killings. Who else you got for me?
Makai Prosper from Monsignor Pace,
6'4",
6'4", 245 pounds, can play defensive end and 4'3". Probably fits best as 3'4" defensive end or 4'3" technique.
How big is he?
He's 6'4", 235, yeah. He was at Carroll City before that, and unfortunately they had him at offensive line.
Right.
Because that just happens in South Florida. Sometimes bigger bodies end up at the wrong position.
And no defense at Carroll City?
I think sparingly, I think he played defense. And then this year, he was the best player on Pace's defense.
Right.
I mean, Shamar is an exceptional talent, but Makai Prosper.
No, he was balling.
He was balling.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was. Anytime we went to go see Shamar, Prosper.
Yeah, 27 stood out in every game, and I saw like three games for Pace this year, and each time I went out there, he was extremely impressive. He has strength in the interior for a guy who's 245 pounds that is uncommon, in my opinion. He's still athletic enough to be a threat on the outside if you wanted like a strong side defensive end type player. He's got a frame to probably put it on an extra 25, 30 pounds. So I do think he's a Division I prospect. I think FIU's trying to get him as a steal for a preferred walk-on spot. But if someone like a Jackson State saw the film, or if a FAMU or Bethune saw the film, I think that kid could go in and probably play immediately at programs like that.
No, these names, I mean, that's crazy. So give me the last one.
The last one for me, and I love this kid's confidence, is Joseph Stevens from Homestead.
Okay.
Number 3.
Right.
This kid, he went into the year telling everybody what he was going to do, and he came out and he did it. I mean, he was one of the key components to Homestead going to the regional final this year.
Homestead got a couple players down there.
Yeah, they got a few studs. I mean, you got David Jester, you got the 2 defensive linemen.
Right.
And he stood out. He stood out as a kid, and he might not be your typical 6'1" corner, but that 5'10", 5'11" range. He's slim, but I mean, we're talking corners here.
Right.
When a kid's a ball hawk, when a kid's not afraid to tackle at that 5'11", 165-pound frame, then he fits into whatever defense you want to run. A lot of times these kids feel like they're in limbo, but in the past there used to be just guys like Larry. But there's so many more hands in the pot now. I think these kids are almost in a way blessed.
They are.
Because there's so many people trying to help them with no ulterior motives.
Ain't no almost in a way. They're way blessed than we were coming out of our school. They have so many platforms. I mean, like I go back to Santana. Like Santana comes on here, asks for an offer, and gets an offer. It's not always going to work like that. You came over here, asked for O'Keefe offer. I don't know what happened after that.
I think he just decided to do the walk-on route to FSU.
Did he?
So he'll earn a scholarship there, especially with their porous defense that they have.
So he decided to. That's cool. So let's talk about that. So he decided to go to FSU.
Yeah.
And walk on.
For a walk-on spot.
FSU didn't have a spot for him. They took like how many? 8 transfer kids, right? Transfer portal kids.
Yeah, I think, like we talked about before, I think that's another red flag is nobody recruiting you.
Yeah.
No official offers or nobody really down your throat recruiting it towards the end.
Yeah.
Coaches just kind of back off because we talked about sometimes they're a little lazy. They don't want to do their own evaluations. So in their mind, they're like, we'll take the risk on him as preferred walk-on.
Yeah.
He comes in and is Jack O'Keefe, whoever he says he is.
Right.
We made a steal. This is a great story.
Right,
you know,
right.
And if nothing happens to him, he ends up just another student at FSU.
So all right, man, go on. You love the kid, right? What's gonna happen with him?
Fan.
Is he gonna?
He's gonna end up
If everything, if he get a shot,
him and Emil and me from University of Sport both going to be scholarship guys within a year.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're basically gray shirts is what I'm considering them. Because they have nothing at FSU right now defensively. It's been, recruiting has been awful. I mean, they're a perennial 3-star program now.
How long though? How long has recruiting been bad at FSU? Because they were killing it at one point in time.
They were killing it.
They had kids that we couldn't get.
With Jimbo.
Yeah, but Jimbo in his last year stopped recruiting. He
That was what, 2 years ago?
Nah, it was like 4 years ago.
No,
Jimbo been
Taggart
there for 4
was
years?
there. Taggart was there for 2 seasons.
Tiger was there for a year and a half.
Oh my God, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Jimbo's wife went crazy on him, huh?
Yeah,
that was like 4 years
Jimbo
ago.
just stopped calling recruits and stuff.
And
So
what FSU is doing right now is almost similar to what you was going with Al Golden.
Quick story. I went up to FSU, man, with Keith Brown and Carson Haggard on a visit when they put on the uniform and take pictures and stuff. And we were there, and this was when what's the name? Taggart was there. And I've been in this process at a couple schools. I've seen it happen. This was Taggart's first year, I think. And parents were there, kids from across the country were there. It was visit time, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was, and the vibe from the coaches were like, they're tired. Like, man, I'm tired, man. Oh man, put this on. And it felt like
forced.
Yeah, it felt like the leadership. When Jimbo was there, Jimbo was there on pins and needles. That was a well-oiled machine. But this felt like, and I attribute it to this, and it maybe wasn't this. It felt like there's a black guy in power now, and either he lacks leadership, or either they're not respecting it. You know what I'm saying? They're not respecting it, and it kind of came across as, these are parents in here of kids you're recruiting, top-notch kids, and the coaches didn't have any energy.
Yeah.
It was like they was going through the motions, and I was like, this is gonna be bad, bro. That was before they even got on the field. I was like, this is gonna be bad.
I think the expectations when he came in, because FSU at that point when he came in, it was still Jimbo.
Yeah.
Right. They had one bad season, but just a few years before that, they were national championship contenders. I think the expectations were put on him early were just too much.
Yeah.
I think they were too much. I think he's better suited for a group of 5 position. He's doing an excellent job at FAU.
Right.
He brought in arguably the greatest class in the school's history this
How does that happen?
Because he is a good coach. He's a good coach and he's a good recruiter. And he has, if you look at his assistants, he has like Patrick and guys like that.
That's the answer though, dog. That's the key. When we always talk with these head coaches, God bless Aubrey Hill. Before Aubrey Hill died, I was trying to get Jamel Cook into school at FIU. And Aubrey Hill went to bat for him. It's Jamel Cook, man. Jamel Cook is an NFL player in my eyes to this day.
6'4".
I don't care what anybody says. Yeah. And when I asked him about Butch Davis, he was like, man, listen, I was riding in the car with him the other day, and I threw Jamel Cook out there. You know what I'm saying? I started talking to him. He said Butch Davis was very impressive. And if you know Aubrey Hill is very impressive. And for him to talk about Butch Davis that way impressed me. So I say that to say it's not necessarily the head coach. We always give him the credit, but it's the head coach leadership skills and ability to put a staff around him. Who can I pick up this phone and call that's going to respect me and come play for me because they know they're going to have a job? Bush Davis is a masterful staff, like
Players coach.
right. Well, when he developed his staff, he gets people around him that's going to develop the players.
Yeah.
I don't think he's no masterful recruiter. I don't think he's no, because I talk to Philip Buchanan all the time too, and he hands over. I mean, he looks up to Bush Davis as like a genius, and he knows how to run a program.
I think some guys are just more likable than others.
Talk to me.
I think some guys are just more likable than others. I mean, you're going to see coaches fail in college. Like Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know how much of a likable guy Cliff Kingsbury was.
Right.
I think that's why he didn't succeed on the college level.
Right.
I think Adam Gase is another guy who, offensive genius, right?
Right.
But just not a likable guy.
Did he just get another job? Somebody else just hired him, right?
Not as a head coach.
What?
I
No.
think maybe as an assistant he got put
The
on
Jets
somewhere.
fired him, right?
Yeah, Jets fired him. But then you look at a guy like Pete Carroll, fails with the Patriots, but he goes to USC and everybody loves him.
Loved him.
He knows who his audience is, right? So he would bring
Took a
on
picture with
Snoop,
Pete Carroll at Hollandale. So
but he brings Snoop Dogg to his practices and stuff. He knows who his audience is.
they loved him at Seattle too, though.
That's what I'm saying. He's a likable guy.
Still at Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until he dies, probably.
So he failed at before, like
Yeah.
So you just think that's experience growth?
I think
Coach failed before.
I think every
Nick Saban failed.
Yeah.
I think they all failed at first.
I think
Bill Belichick at Cleveland.
I don't think
They was on their way though. They was about to kick some ass. You ever see that documentary? They was ready.
Yeah, but
they were loading.
Yeah, they were loaded, but they were still losing.
They were about to win, and then they moved the team,
yeah.
and they made it the Baltimore Ravens. And then what happened? The Baltimore Ravens won. They were on their way. They just was building it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that staff they had was crazy.
But yeah, I mean, listen, I think not everybody's style works everywhere.
Uh-huh.
But if you're a likable guy, you have more of an opportunity to succeed than otherwise. So like guys like Pete Carroll, guys like Saban, everybody in the media might not like him. I've never heard a player other than Plaxico Burress say anything bad about Nick Saban. Like guys, Julio Jones, like these guys come back to Alabama and they spend time with Saban. Like,
But NFL guys don't like him.
yeah, but
he wasn't.
yeah,
wasn't
but in college,
College,
he's an old man. Like he's an older man, and they look up to him as a mentor. So I mean, some guys it works in other places, but then it doesn't work in others.
Right.
But if you're a likable guy, if you have traits that attract people to you,
Right.
then you can be
You can
successful.
benefit from it.
Yeah, like a
man,
Butch
keep that
Davis.
thought, man. We finna talk about that. Listen, man, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button and share, man. Got the crib. Go follow that, man. I'm D. We'll be right back. Doing with LSU, right?
Yeah. And Martinez plays more than him.
At LSU?
But Martinez is better though. Martinez is better than Ashton.
You're a freshman though, right?
And I got a lot of shit for putting Martinez ahead of Dumerville.
I think
you know
I
they
think he's gonna be. I think Amelo will be successful. I think Shamar Stewart will be successful. I think kids are different. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not saying that they're not going to be successful. I'm saying for high school, for him to reach the level that everybody's putting him at,
Right.
this is a prove-it year for him.
Who? Shamar?
No, both.
Both. Shamar and
Well, yeah, I
Amelo.
think Shamar
Prove
has
to
a
prove
better
what
ceiling.
though?
Prove that they're that 5-star kid.
I think Shamar has a better ceiling though. 'Cause Shamar.
Who they gotta prove it to?
Shamar sophomore year, he
They got to prove it to. There's naysayers everywhere.
Okay, so look. All right, so there's naysayers everywhere, right? They're both 5 stars. They both got every offer in the world, right? They're gonna be able to write their own ticket where they go. Tell me when I'm wrong, cause you know more than I know, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, as of now, they can choose wherever they want to go.
Right.
But another subpar season for Shamar with 0 sacks last season. That could change in a heartbeat. You know what I mean?
Why
You
didn't
know how-
Shamar sack anybody last year?
He was banged up and it was just a bad year.
How many games he played in?
He played in most. I think he only missed 2. I think he missed like 2 games.
So, I mean, but what I'm saying is, there's always naysayers, no?
I hear you. I just think that going into your senior year, when like Armello had a very good junior year, right? But it's been a 1-year thing, right? He's only done it 1 time.
He dealt with a lot last year.
And it was his best year. He
Yeah.
didn't deal with that much his sophomore year.
Right.
And it was a subpar sophomore season.
But that was at St. Thomas.
It was at St. Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, different competition, though. Okay, so listen, let's go back. Julian DeMello, I followed him ever since he was at Sunnyland.
Yes.
We was all surprised he ended up at St. Thomas. Then to see him get on the field at St. Thomas was more amazing to us, just for a kid coming from Sunnyland. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the way you describe it is kind of backwards to the way I lived it. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like we're like, man, Julian at St. Thomas from Extreme Football League playing at St. Thomas as a freshman. Oh Lord, he playing in the FBU freshman game. Oh Lord, he's 4-star. So I kind of saw it the reverse way of the way you see it. You know what I'm saying?
I think the way the recruiting rankings have him right now, he's head and shoulders above everybody, you know.
And that's not what you see?
And I mean, I think he's the top offensive lineman in South Florida, but I think Jason Seraphin is right there. I think Jackson Crozier is very close.
So you do think he's the top?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
I just think that it's close. The gap is much closer than the recruiting rankings have it right now.
We went and shot a no cap on him and him and his mom, his family and stuff. Listen, bro, like he's the leader of that O line. Like he's the leader of that.
They love him.
He outworked everybody. He about far. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the one getting everybody fired up. Like he was. So I mean,
I don't doubt that he's gonna be that, right?
Right.
I think I just need to see it one more time. I think for me, I'm one of those guys that if you look great in underwear, that's awesome, right? Like I like to see the one-on-one reps occasionally at the Rivals and Under Armour camps.
Right.
But that only shows so much. We've seen a lot of scrubs do well in those settings.
Right.
So I think he does well in that setting. I think he had a very good junior year. But there were times I watched the North Miami game in person, and he was invisible. He didn't block anybody. He got demolished by a kid almost half his size.
Right.
So I mean, he and then I went to the Deerfield game and he completely flipped his switch. So I don't know if it was, like you said, maybe he was just going through something this year, and there was just parts of the year where he was sputtering a little bit.
He looked good at Deerfield?
Yeah, he looked very good. Yeah.
Throwing everybody, right?
Because I mean, he was going against 2 Division I kids, Terrius Lee, and he was going against Justice Cross, who's at FAU now.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was dominating. Like they didn't run the ball that well, but I don't think that was because of Armello. Put it that way.
Right.
They just weren't running. Different was good.
I think
But he.
Oh, so I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You do think he's a top kid, but you're just saying from your standard, you want to see more
in the country.
Because you think he could end up being who? Like you're saying, who you've seen, what kid you've seen?
He could be Doomerville, like I said, or he could be fucking. Who's the kid who went to Oklahoma from Hollandale?
Talking about years ago.
Yeah.
What was
O lineman?
Yeah.
Played for Tampa Bay.
Played for Tampa Bay. I forget his name.
He come back every now and then too, huh?
Dreads.
Yeah.
Or he could be McDougal, right?
Right.
He could be that, right? Where like it was a huge recruit, and he went to Miami and panned out,
Right. I get you.
That's what he could be,
Right.
So no knock on the kid. I just think nation-wise, like we're talking about, like I think Rivals has him like as the number 1 offensive lineman in the country.
Robert got him at 5-star number 1 offensive tackle.
Yeah. Now 24/7 has him at the 13th best offensive tackle, not 13th best offensive lineman, 13th best tackle. So it's not. So in that rankings, he's not a 5-star. So I think there's still some room.
Wait, you didn't go to their camp or something?
Oh,
That's when he threw Hammond, right? That was the Rivals camp. Or that was at the Rivals camp when he
remember,
threw
24/7 just goes to everything.
Yeah.
It's Ivans just goes to everything except the Rivals camp. So
named Davin Joseph.
Huh?
Davin
Joseph, yeah.
But what I see with Jude, he's good. I mean, the thing about, like I said, I think he has. I don't know. I guess maybe it might be with competition. Maybe he might be one of them kids who plays good against good competition.
Yeah.
Instinct, mercy, mercy.